This is the finishing maneuver. My name is Jacob Charno.
I'm Jared Wilder.
Today we will be giving our payback, our SummerSlam 2.0 predictions, which would be payback. SummerSlam was last week. Payback is this Sunday. Let's talk about some predictions. We did well on our last predictions video, Jared. I think we went probably 5-2 in our total. We had the same predictions for SummerSlam. I think we probably might have very similar predictions for Payback as well. With that being said, let's start with a match that isn't on the card yet, but maybe by the time this gets uploaded, it will be, and that would be the Intercontinental Championship match. I think it's going to be Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles, and I can really only see Jeff Hardy retaining to go into a feud with Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, I'm so excited that Sami Zayn's back.
Me too.
And I was missing Sami Zayn, and tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Who's the real IC champ? Because this is one of the old school WWE tropes that I actually got to be with my dad at MSG for WrestleMania 10 to see the Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels ladder match, the original Who's the Real IC Champ. Now, I think Jeff Hardy's going to retain, and AJ is going to make him look great. They might even start out with this match just like we did for a reason, and I think that it's going to go into a fantastic feud with Sami Zayn, where I think Sami Zayn's going to come on out and be IC Champ by Survivor Series.
I would love that. Sami Zayn was a great Intercontinental Champion, and maybe he'll defend it. Maybe we'll see him in some matches now. And I think that, especially with, the crowd now, I think that's kind of the environment they want to bring him back in, and I think that's going to be very good for him. So Jeff Hardy retains the IC title at Payback. That's our prediction right there.
And also, just in a little bit of to touch on the possible SummerSlam 2.0 aspect of it. Because not since 1991's This Tuesday in Texas has a pay-per-view followed so closely after any pay-per-view, let alone a big four pay-per-view like SummerSlam, which I think means they're going to they have to pull out all the stops, which is why I could even see them possibly doing something where Zayn comes in and tries to challenge him and walks out with the IC belt from Payback.
Is that a prediction?
That's a prediction. I think they have to bring something in.
Spoiler.
Let me tell you. Oh boy.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to what kind of guy, Paul Heyman or otherwise, we might be.
Yeah, so let's move on. A match that, this could be the start of something fantastic. Big E versus Sheamus. Big E starting his singles run.
Love it.
Loving it. Love Big E. Always have loved Big E.
Yeah, me too. He's a champion.
He's really going to shine now that he's going back to his singles career for at least the meantime. I think Big E's going to win this match against Sheamus. I think Sheamus obviously kind of seems like the guy who's just kind of putting people over now. They brought back Jeff Hardy to fight Sheamus, obviously.
I also want to ask you, is it weird? Is it just me? But every time I'm watching Sheamus, I feel like it's like Newsies or a paperboy that stopped delivering papers 30 years ago. And now I just want him to maybe give online news. You know what I'm saying? Sheamus, I like you, buddy. I want you to kick ass. I just don't want you to kick ass against Big E because I think that this is going to wind up being the start and what we'll look back on and really genuinely remember the beginning of the Big E Langston era. I gave him his last name back, by the way. The Big E Langston era.
Off camera, we did have that conversation about off camera. We did have that conversation about wrestlers getting their last names taken away or first names taken away. We went over Antonio Cesaro, Alexander Rusev, and Big E Langston were the big three that we talked about.
I already possess my last name, Jacob. You're not taking it away from me.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're going to put me in the main event? Sorry, never mind. Yeah. You know what, though? Take it away. Here, give me whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. So Big E Langston I think he'll come out victorious, as he should. Sheamus, I think that he's always kind of been the stepping stone for people to just get to that next level, because when you're watching, the easiest way to get someone over is to have them fight people that the general wrestling population would know. Sheamus is obviously one of those guys. He has been since 2012. I think he debuted in 2012. Through his entire career, that's just how he's been.
Right, and that's when he was that kind of guy where he was getting put over by Cena and by all the other guys. Hey, the whole Daniel Bryan, the yes movement started at WrestleMania when Sheamus squashed Daniel Bryan, and it looked so obviously like a joke, like they were trying to keep down our favorite wrestlers, the indie guys, whatever it was, the ones that we're really invested in. And now it's interesting because Sheamus is now the type of guy you're like, hey, if he has the last run, I'll be very happy, but I just don't want it to be against Big E.
Absolutely. So let's move on. King Corbin versus Matt Riddle, bro. I think that Matt Riddle. I'm worried about this match. I am worried that they're gonna worried. I'm gonna make my prediction just because he's been in the company long enough. I think that King Corbin's gonna go over here, and I think that they're gonna put Matt Riddle. They think that King Corbin's gonna beat Matt Riddle. Jared, what do you think about this match?
I totally agree. I think shenanigans are going to ensue, and I don't mean the kind that are fun and get you into trouble. I think that the kind that's actually going to wind up having King Corbin walk out. And after that, though, hopefully, I think that they're going to maybe have Matt Riddle go into a possible feud with whoever at first wins the title match tonight. If Sami Zayn doesn't walk out tonight, I think that probably Matt Riddle against Jeff Hardy next couple of weeks, maybe the next pay-per-view, and then by Survivor Series, they would have the IC versus IC matchup. Could be Riddle, but I think Riddle's definitely he's counting the lights tonight.
Absolutely. So moving on, Rey and Dominic Mysterio get their chance once again against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy / Murphy.
Yeah, but we're giving. It's weird though. In this case, we're giving him his first name back.
Yes, in fact, we are.
Any name you want, you can take. Really.
I think this will be the uplifting moment of the night. I think that Rey and Dominic will take down Seth Rollins and Murphy, and I think that Murphy's going to be the one to take the pin.
I totally agree, by the way. I think that Dominic's going to go over on Buddy Murphy, and then he's going to wind up taking that pin. I think there's going to be stuff going on afterward that they're going to wind up maybe setting some stuff up for Raw with Seth Rollins and Mysterio, but Rey, that is. But yeah, I agree. I think Murphy's going under, and I think Rey and 619 is coming out on top tonight.
And I'm honestly, I would be okay with that. I think that's
me too. They've been setting it up. I like it. Keep on going. It gives them back momentum.
I don't necessarily love 50-50 booking most of the time.
I don't either. I think it's going to get. I think that right now the payback is going to be that they're going to wind up probably getting. You know what? This is my prediction: is that the payback is going to be that Seth Rollins will get handcuffed and he will get the beat down this time. However, I do not think that Becky Lynch will come on back, and then that will start anything.
Fight Ray's wife. Becky Lynch just comes out, trained wrestler of many, many years, fighting Dominic Mysterio's mother.
It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Just Dominic Mysterio's mother comes out and just starts beating them both down. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to.
Neither do I. But let's move on. U.S. title, another U.S. title match, hopefully not on the pre-show this time. Apollo Crews taking on Bobby Lashley this time. I'm surprised. I think this might be Vince's Undertaker versus Undertaker match of 2020, where I make that joke all the time, where Vince McMahon cannot tell Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley apart. And I think Bobby Lashley is going to take the U.S. title off of Apollo Crews tonight. I think that's the main reason why he retained at SummerSlam, so they could have something happen on Payback, like a title change. And I think Bobby Lashley will walk out of Payback as the U.S. champion one way or another.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're going to wind up still continuing the Hurt business. Couldn't put it on MVP, but you still get to have MVP out there, big time talker. And once again, I think at some point they're setting up this Cedric Alexander turn, and I don't think that'll be the big turn tonight. But if it is, and they don't have a surprise like the Beast, Brock Lesnar coming on back, I think that Lashley's walking out so they can eventually set up a Lashley Lesnar feud. Whether or not over the belt or not, I don't know. But Apollo Crews is great. I'm still not connecting with him. And I think that Lashley has always had that bigger name, both in and out of WWE. I think that McMahon brought him back for a reason. And I think this is now the time when they're taking the chances they should have taken probably 3 or 4 years ago before he lost a lot of his steam. I think his steam will come back a little bit, and he's walking out new IC champ and new.
Yeah, I agree. So, moving on, let's talk about this one because this has one of my favorite wrestlers right now versus one of our not so favorite wrestlers right now. Let's go Randy Orton versus Limitless Keith Lee with his new, very new, not so very good entrance music that apparently he's handling according to Twitter.
Jacob, let's just take a moment to bask in his glory. Because I understand that, you know what, that the ring attire is definitely so-so, and the new music is not as strong as it was, which turns out has to do more with trademarks and a contract that ended with the CF money sign O, I think whatever the team or band that was doing all the NXT themes. That ran out. They didn't want to pay for them for it. I get that, royalties and whatnot. Still think that Keith Lee, the fact that on his first night on Monday Night Raw, he wound up going against Randy Orton, the guy that we thought, unfortunately, possibly in SummerSlam 1.0 was almost going to walk out with a World Heavyweight Championship. I think that says all you need to know about how great Keith Lee is in their eyes. I will say, though, the caveat is you can't continue to make him look like one of the best parts of Keith Lee. He was kind of like Lizzo. You love the fact that he's relatable and connecting. And you know what, though? Why you put him in this outfit seems really silly. Just let him be who he is. Let him be the guy that we fell in love with and that wanted to continue on. So I hopefully think that tonight he's going to come in and get his first win on a pay-per-view against Randy Orton. And then after putting him over, Randy Orton can go back to wind up going for his rematch with Drew McIntyre once Drew's back. Jacob, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think Keith Lee is going to go over on Randy. I think that his first pay-per-view, kind of like Sheamus, I think Randy's going to put him over. Randy's always very good about putting young talent over. He has been for a while, and good for him. He's made a lot of people look strong. I think that Keith Lee has the opportunity to become the top star in the company, if not one of the top stars.
Totally agree.
I guess first pay-per-view, having him win on a secondary pay-per-view, it's not going to really hurt Randy Orton. It'll help Keith Lee more than it hurts Randy Orton.
I totally agree.
So Keith Lee should, and I think will, beat Randy. I think that's a fair prediction.
Yeah, and I think, however, a prediction is they're going to get his theme music and his ring attire right. So, as he said, let's step back, let's enjoy, and let's bask in his glory. Glory! Oh, wait, no, that's not him. Never mind. Sorry. Shout out to Bobby Roode. Wherever you are, Bobby Roode's MIA and the new glorious, impervious, impossible man. Keith Lee!
Yeah. So, now moving on to a match that they were promoting before SummerSlam. Before their last pay-per-view, they were saying this match is going to happen at Payback. Why?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? Honestly, they didn't even know. They didn't even have an opponent set up I think until the Raw, maybe until the Raw after SummerSlam, which is also odd because my prediction in this is going to be that. Well, it has to be that Nia and
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler, thank you very much. Apparently, I love her so much that I forgot her name. What?
It happened.
Shane, so I think Shayna and I are definitely walking out with it, and I think it's going to be the start of that fantastic breakup that will. I don't know if it's the Mega Powers exploding, but Sasha and Bailey, I'm here for it. Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go. We need some diversity on this show. So let's go. I think Bailey and Sasha are still gonna walk out as champions only because, like I said, I think they'll probably drop it at Survivor Series. I think that you think the breakup will be at Survivor Series, but I think they're gonna drag this thing out till Mania. I think that they are going to. I think that there is a chance that they fight. If not Mania, Royal Rumble. I think that Rumble could be
not even Rumble. This is like long-term booking here's the thing. You're right. Should they do that? Absolutely. Will they do that? They are ripping up scripts at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock show. And then we're giving them the credit that they're going to somehow have long-term booking in mind. Right. Now, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That should be the case. And I definitely could see Sasha and Bailey walking out tonight. But I feel like they've been waiting so long. It's as though he's waiting to unwrap this present. McMahon is just sitting there.
He's shaking it. He's like, is it a puppy? Is it a puppy?
He's shaking the puppy, which is a Vince McMahon specialty.
Yeah. So I think that if Bailey and Banks, I'll say Bailey and Banks. I think that most likely Nia and Shayna will probably end up taking it. But
I would love Bailey and Banks, by the way.
If they walk out, then they'll probably break up at Survivor Series. If not, I mean, Hell in a Cell's before that, so maybe they'll lock them up in Hell in a Cell, and I don't know. But that's who knows? Honestly, it's WWE, it's wrestling. Right. For all we know, they don't even know what they're doing yet. So that's
honestly, for all we do know, I think that they've given us and shown us that they don't know what they know, that they don't know if they know.
Yeah.
So if the friend of my friend, is the enemy of my enemy, Eric sleeping with the enemy? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Nobody.
Who knows?
Nobody. The answer is nobody. Nobody knows. Let's move on. The main event. Main event of the night. This one is you're not gonna like my prediction on this one. I already know you. I already know you won't.
Wow. Well, then let's start it out. Let's get a controversy creates cash.
Bray Wyatt, who is the champion right now. He won it at SummerSlam, taking on Braun Strowman for some reason. I guess he's getting his rematch, and then taking on Roman because in WWE you just have to show up and you'll get a title shot. That's it. Just interfere in the main event. It doesn't matter. Just as long as you walk into the main event and hit somebody, you get a title shot. You could become the world champion. So
pretty much, yeah.
But now, something that I never thought that I would ever hear: Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman, and that happened on SmackDown. Jared, let's get your thoughts first off about that pairing with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns.
In 2.5 weeks, WWE has done and gotten over Roman Reigns the way they tried, and it took them 2.5 years.
5 years. 2015 it took them. 2015 to 2020.
Yeah. But think two multiple WrestleMania main events, and then having Paul Heyman come in there, work with him. By the way, this is my unfortunate, possible not spoiler, but prediction, is that this is all a swerve. This is my same worry about the Sasha Bailey thing, is that they don't know what they have right now. Putting Paul Heyman with Roman where he doesn't totally know if this is right makes so much sense. And if Roman becomes the Samoan badass that he is in real life and actually goes in there, beats him down, and what they do is how I referenced the Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan match. This will make people get behind the Fiend even more. So Roman walks out, but he doesn't beat the Fiend Bray Wyatt. He beats Braun Strowman. However, if he does not beat Braun Strowman, it's going to be because the new Wyatt family comes for a payback of their own for Roman Reigns.
So my prediction, it's not gonna happen. That's just I've come to the conclusion that that's not gonna happen. Yours is much more realistic than mine. So I don't even think Roman is walking out as the Universal Champion on Sunday or tonight when you see it on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be. We've been talking about it. I think that Paul Heyman will screw over Roman when he's most vulnerable, and bring back Brock Lesnar for another Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns feud. Whether that does end up being for the Universal title, I think that Paul Heyman will screw over Roman because
I agree on that, but I can't.
We know that Paul Heyman loves Brock Lesnar and hates Roman Reigns, and he has for a long time. So listen, I think the Fiend is going to walk out. I think that they have to. The fact that it would just be so upsetting to watch the Fiend win the title, and after he's done everything so correctly and so great,
everything.
A week later. If it was a month, maybe. It's a week later. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
And by the way, that's my biggest worry, and also that's why I know it's going to happen, because time and time again, for the last year and a half, 2 years, they've had one of the most dynamic, fascinating, interesting characters they've had in years. That both when they're trying to make as a production as an entertainment production company, how many movies it did with Kane, they basically have a new version of Kane where they could sell him, get him out there, and they've now turned him into a joke character. And so I think what they're trying to personally do, I think they are going to have Roman take it from him because they want everyone on the interwebs to go absolutely nuts and say, I can't believe he did this to the Fiend. And then the Fiend becomes the anti-hero horror character that we now want to root for. Right. And then going forward, he has all these guys come back. And then they're going to wind up being Bo Dallas. They're going to possibly be Alexa Bliss. If not, I still think that Nikki Cross would work so well as Sister Abigail, and maybe they're trying to swerve us. But I'm fascinated because whatever they do going forward is really going to tell the tale for how they see. Like, this is kind of in a weird way, like you brought up, though. This is the start to WrestleMania season, even though it's supposed to be after the Royal Rumble. This is when we're seeing who they really see as their top, faces, heels in the company going forward. We know it's Sasha and Bayley, but is it going to be? Is Roman going to be the Paul Heyman guy? Doubtful. I think you're right. I think he's turned it on him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a very similar. I think it could be a very similar way how Heyman turned on CM Punk.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
we've seen it before with Heyman. We'll see it again. I think Bray Wyatt walks out of Payback with the Universal title. Jared, lock in your prediction for who's walking out with it on Sunday.
All right. So on Sunday, I think I'm locking in that Roman Reigns, the big dog, is walking out with that belt. However, I could see at the end of the night, look at that Thunderdome, and the fact that they want to play with people who actually like the reality, the kayfabe of people of coming into the Thunderdome and putting up all these different pictures, getting hacked. What if at the end, the Fiend, the new Wyatt family are there, and Retribution, the lights go down, the lights come up, and Retribution is around the ring, and then faces of Retribution take over all of the different squares in the Thunderdome, and that's how it ends.
That would be crazy. That would be
Jacob Charnow, what is your prediction for the main event for Payback?
I think that, I think that one way or another, with some shenanigans, whether that be Braun actually joining the Wyatt family again, or whether that be Retribution getting involved in the actual match,
Yeah.
I think that the Fiend will end up walking out with the belt. Um, a week is too short of a. You can't have the Fiend lose to Goldberg, get screwed over at Showdown, lose to Goldberg, and then come back, win it again, and lose it in a week to a returning Roman Reigns, who,
Yep.
yes, he's a badass right now, but like, it's a week. It's still a title. You still want to preserve the young stars, and one of the young stars who is still the future is Bray Wyatt. So I really hope they don't screw him over. And I guess the most Vince way of preventing that would be having Roman pin Braun Strowman for the title. But
Yep.
I'm gonna say Bray Wyatt walks out with the belt. That's my final prediction. Lock it in.
Lock it in. Lock it.
I can't wait.
Loaded.
I'm relatively excited for the show. There's some good matches, I think.
Me too. I really think so. I think they're good. I think you can't have done or set up a pay-per-view for a week after knowing it the whole time. Because they easily could have done something like they did with Great American Bash, where it was 2 nights. It was less than, or like I was saying, the reference to this Tuesday in Texas. Hulk Hogan loses that belt to Undertaker because they want to have shockwaves because of outside interference, just like you're alluding to, and that was Ric Flair at the time. I feel like now it could end with that same outside interference. Whoever's walking out, I do not know, but somebody is going to end this, and it's not going to go well for them, and they're going to need the ultimate retribution, the ultimate payback.
Inside of Hell in a Cell. With that, we will wrap today. That is all coming at you from the Finishing Maneuver. Once again, go ahead, follow the Finishing Maneuver on all social medias at the Finishing Maneuver. You can go follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charnow. You can go follow
you can follow me at Something Wilder at where all WWE ice cream pops are sold. Actually, no, you know what? In fact, they're very hard to get. Just follow me at Something Wilder. That's probably the smartest thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, follow both of us. Go ahead, subscribe to the Finishing Maneuver for all the top predictions, reactions, rumors, and more from all around